Hello everyone, welcome to the Weeb Initiative. I'm your host, the Weeb. This is the show where every other week I'll be talking about anime, manga, and everything in between. This week I'll be talking about Sweat and Soap, also known as Aceto Seken. It's just one missing gem I found while searching for romance manga. Oh, it's so sweet. It's so sweet. Let's get into it. So first things first, disclaimers, spoiler alert. I was talking about pretty much everything about the manga. It's a pretty simple story anyways, so beware that spoil everything, although there's not many twists and turns. Now first things first, the stats. So the manga was written by Kintetsu Yamada. He's a fairly newcomer to manga writing. By his own account on the extras of the manga originally was run through June 2018 to January 2021, so it's a fairly recent manga. Also, the manga was licensed in the US by Kodansha USA, and you can probably find everything in Amazon. The manga has 11 volumes, it has 97 chapters outside of the extras and omakes. Each chapter has about 15 to 20 pages from what I can remember, and unfortunately it does not have an anime adaptation as of today, April 2022, but it has a drama. It started in February of 2022 and goes till today, at present day. So that's about the stats. I really hope they eventually adapt it into an anime. I really would want to watch it. And now to the story. So what's the plot, right? And this is one of those reassuring tales, I would say. Much like Gurren Lagann, it's something that, not that the plot itself is so grand or so good that it inspires you, but the situation in which the characters find themselves and the relationship they create really bring forth that inspiration, that hope you can see in humanity. So before I get ahead of myself, let's start. So the main character in the whole story is the main girl, Yaeshima Asako, who's this accountant working for a soap company, and she has two distinguished features at the start. She has a really low self-esteem because she has this condition, and it's fairly common condition. It's actually not really a disease. It's something about biotypes and something like that. But she sweats a lot, and she has a complex with it because at some point we get to know her past, right? And she was bullied at school because she used to sweat a lot, even with minimal exercise, minimal physical effort. She would sweat a lot, and I can relate to that. I kind of have something near that. And so she has this low self-esteem and a whole complex about both her body odor and the fact that sweating a lot, it's visually, I would not say distressing, but it is at the very least distracting in a work environment. Even more in Japan, where appearances for women are really, let's say, not more important, but really more exacerbated by the social conditions. So she has this whole thing, right? So, and because of that and other things, she loves the soap the company does and loves to take baths and all that. And then the first chapter and the one shot that eventually got the manga to be serialized, we meet also the main guy, Natori Kotaro, who first thing when... And before I start, he's the product developer, product planner, and product manager for the same company. So Asako and Kotaro both work at the same company but in different departments. And Kotaro, whereas Asako is really low self-esteem and really shutting and basically no friends besides her close colleagues, Kotaro is this easygoing guy. He appears to be really good in interpersonal relationships, both in work and elsewhere. And for the most part, Kotaro is this really eccentric guy. The first thing he does when he kind of meets Asako is smell her, because for whatever reason he can distinguish people by their smell, because he's Wolverine or whatever. And for the first, and you see to that point, you see this build up where Asako is explaining her whole complex about body odor and all, and then comes this guy out of nowhere reassuring her that she smells good, and there's no problem in her, not there's no problem in her sweating a lot, but it is only natural that she sweats a lot because it's a biology thing. It's not something she can actually control, really. So you can see from really the start that Kotaro serves as this reassuring piece, whereas Asako is the, let's say, the downer of the relationship. Although we eventually see some development there, and that's the basic premise, right? They meet up in this weird situation and start to relate to each other. They start to talk, to go out, and so on and so forth. So in the basic premise, that's the basic premise of the whole manga, right? And from then on, we see this development of the normal development of a romance story. So we see these initial mini conflicts between them of interests, and the fact that Asako mainly has to adapt to how Kotaro acts, because I mean, if someone came to you and smelled you straight up in the office, that's straight out creepy, right? It's straight out stranger danger, sexual harassment or whatever. But given that this is a romance manga, let it slide. I don't know. It's just so cute. It's really wholesome and really good. Anyways, so we then see they try to adapt to each other. They start with those cutesy things of kind of like her, and then she starts to cook for him, and they go to each other's homes and all, and it's pretty wholesome. The whole manga is pretty wholesome, and this is one thing about this manga in particular. There are no real conflicts in the sense that the stakes are pretty low most of the time, and the conflicts never really get developed, in my opinion. The author kind of dips into the problem, but then already gets out. I don't know if it's a fear of, derailing the story, or if he had some kind of time constraint in between the releasing volumes and all. But this is a feeling that comes up again and again in the ongoing of the story. So back to the whole thing, right? So they start this whole thing, adapt to each other, go out and all. And Asako is really embarrassed about the whole thing, about having a boyfriend now that she's in her late 20s, early 30s. And for what's worth, she still has this mindset about having this complex about her body odor, about people avoiding her because of that. And we see that this is one of the first conflicts that really push her forward as a character, because as things go on, right, the first breakpoint she finds is that she starts to doubt herself in the sense that Kotaro is really easygoing and he's always surrounded by people at work. So at some point she sees him at work with a lot of people in his team and all, and she starts to doubt her situation because she thinks he's too good for her. And it's pretty sad. It's pity when you see something like that, because oh boy, it's awful. Anyways, so this is the first mini conflict, and again we see later that she tries to get some distance. Even it appears that she will like break up with him at that point, but he comes in the clutch and reassures her again that he is happy with her. She, to him, inspires him to make new products and all, to the point where one of the products that come out after they start going out, he says is inspired on her smell, although it's not the same smell. I don't know how that works. Anyways, and it's always this back and forth between one reassuring the other, and it's really, really wholesome, really, really cute, to the point that for some people it may become too corny and really too sweet. I had some times where I really thought like, this manga is awesome for me, but I can see someone bouncing out because this is too wholesome. It's something about overstimulation, right? So we can deal with. Everyone has like a threshold for things, and there is obviously a threshold for wholesome content. Although some people may have a higher threshold than others, I have a really high. So to me, this is awesome. But I could see someone bouncing off because this is way too wholesome, and there's no actual conflict, and the relations are too, in some cases, shallow, as the manga shows. But that aside, we then get introduced to a lot of people. So we get introduced to the chief of accounting, to some of the guys in the accounting department, to the chief of product development, some people in the product development. At some point we even get introduced to what would be a rival to Asako, that is the Kohai of Kotaro. I don't actually remember her name right now. That's beside the point. The thing is, we get as the story progresses, we get introduced to more people. We get introduced to this whole, not world building, but this whole social structure they are on. So the fact that Kotaro has a little sister that is in college. His parents work at a tea plantation. His mother lost her sight when his sister was born, and a whole lot of other things. There's this one thing about Asako's little brother that used to try to defend her from bullies at school. And there's this whole, you see it as a relatable story. It's really, I think so everyone will see some part of themselves in it. And to me, that although the story is pretty simple, although it has no, I would not say actual substance, but although the story is not really complex or, I don't know, dive into something heavier, everyone can relate to them, everyone can see themselves in the characters one way or another, and to me that's pretty good. So, for what's worth, right? So you get introduced to all these people, we get introduced to all the situations they are on. So at first, when Asako and Kotaro start going out, Asako is really embarrassed, so she asks Kotaro not to reveal to anyone that they are going out and all. And eventually, as things go on, and Asako really starts to warm up to the idea of being her and having a boyfriend that she likes in a relationship that she deems good for herself and for her special other. She kind of warms up to it, and eventually they get discovered / announce that they're going out, more or less, and that goes on, right? So from that point on, they start going out, and eventually it comes to the point that they move in together while going out yet, so boyfriend and girlfriend, and it goes until there's this one, and always this going back and forth, because maybe one of them pulls too much to one way and the other one has to pull them back and forth about couple stuff. It's pretty wholesome. It's a slice of life romance manga, god damn it. I can't explain all the situations because it would take like 2 hours to that, and even then, right? Just read the goddamn thing. It's on Amazon. Anyways, I'm getting ahead. The thing is, right? At some point, Kotaro is really churning with the idea of getting married and building a family with Asako, and at some point he almost does it, but then for one reason or another, Asako meets one of the bullies from back in middle school, and then she dips way deep in a depression because she kind of relapses to her old self, and that's the point where the whole thing really starts to seem like it will crumble apart. Like, oh boy, that's it. I remember this one part that really marked me. I don't actually remember the line, but Kotaro just goes like, boy, I'm so tired, or something like, I give up. When I read that, I was like, oh my god, there are like 17 chapters to the end. The author will not just destroy the whole manga for that. Oh boy. And I was really shocked. Because to that point, the conflicts were not on that scale. I mean, there were some conflicts that kinda seemed bad, but not on that scale. And that, to me, at the very least, shows some commitment in that the author wanted to do something not new, but something interesting. But at the end of the day, I think he didn't commit enough, or didn't have the resources to do that. I say that in a way that, basically, right, he says that, but for one reason or another, some outside force comes to Asako and just like, man, you got a boyfriend now that you want to marry too, so come on, right? And that basically saves the day, being an outside force, so it's basically plot convenience at that point, but it's still pretty wholesome, and it's still pretty good. Although I can see the plot holes and the plot convenience and all. Oh yes, towards the end they start to drop this kind of one-liners to life, like, oh boy, what was that? To have space in your heart to all of your family, or something like that. At some point, the writing went a bit out of the window. I don't know, because right. So let me get this straight. Until like chapter 80, we have a back and forth, and still the end is not set in stone. But then when the 10th volume begins, we can already see the writing on the wall about them getting married, and it's not really a secret anymore at that point. It really is out there. It's really an open secret that the ending will be either they just break up and it's a bad ending, or they marry, have a son, a daughter, I don't know, and it's awesome. And it's that love fantasy. It's like a power fantasy, but it's a love fantasy, right? It would be perfect. Either that or it would be terrible. And to the credit, it's really good in being a love fantasy, but I think towards the end, the story kind of already concluded, and the author just padded it out towards the, I don't know, like 10 chapters towards the end. Because at some point, yes, they will marry. That's not a secret. It's just a matter of when. And then we get this whole build up about family, and there's this whole, let's say, mini arc about them getting ready for the ceremony itself. So there's this whole thing about getting rings, flowers, choosing a venue, emailing everyone to see if they can actually attend the ceremony, and all, and choosing a dress, choosing a suit and whatever. Into that, it's awesome, and it's awesome. The thing is, it's awesome, but it's also really simple. It's not a new thing. It's not I don't know, a blood plus kind of thing. It's not really well written. Oh my god, that's so revolutionary. No, it's a simple story with a simple premise and a really good execution. It goes in the list of romances that actually end well and then do not cheese the ending. That's a discussion for a whole nother video, but a whole nother episode, goddamn. But the thing is, right, the story ends with them marrying. It's really cute. Goddamn, oh boy, it's goddamn really cute. Everyone's there. We know everyone there. It's this closing of a curtain of just a down to earth, by the book slice of life. It's just the tale of about these two people that met by some odd reason and end up together in this lovey-dovey relationship. It's really nice. And I just want to get this out there, right? In the extras for the last volume, the author did 2 extra chapters about them having a daughter, and it's really cute. God damn, it's really cute. My man, it's it's so cute. The thing is, right, that's about the story. The whole story is they start going out. Asako is really stuck up on her ways, and they eventually grow up, announce to everyone, live together, and then marry and build a family. That's awesome. That's the my bread and butter. A good romance that ends well. A perfect ending to a simple story. No random conflict at the end. No rush to end anything. Being a newcomer to the manga world, I think Kintetsu Yamada, I hope he writes more, he draws more. I hope to see more of his work in the future. And that's about it, right? A really short episode, really. I think it's the second episode in a row that's really short, but I don't want to milk it. Like, it's a simple story with a simple premise. They're really wholesome everything really. So that's about it, right? About my opinion. Story, it's a passable 7. A passable 7, really, in your opinion, if you are strictly, objectively rating it, maybe a 5 or 6. The art style is really hit or miss, I would say. So to me it's a 7. It's cute and it's I would not say usable, but it is competent. So it's a 7. Some people may say it's a 5. I have this thing that I can appreciate a simpler art style. And challenge rating, like if it has cliffhangers, it hurts to watch sometimes. The emotions are too hard. I would say not too challenging. It's not such a thing as, I don't know, Minamoto-kun or whatever. And yeah, that's about it. It's a wholesome manga. I really recommend it. It warms my heart, really. Warms my heart to read something so pure, so just carrying this good energy about a romance does not need to have so much conflict. Sometimes just a lot of sugar is good enough, really. That's the best I can put it. I don't know what else to say. And really, that's it. So if you like the things I do, if you like the work I do, please follow, subscribe, depending on the platform. Please like and share with your friends. Say that I talk about some really bad manga and anime. All my platforms are in the description. Join the Discord, please. And I hope you stick around, and I'll see you next time. Bye.